While I was in the hospital, my mom and sister put my 4-year-old daughter in a box and told her she was being returned to the factory. I came home to find her sobbing inside it, with a strange man standing over her, threatening to take her away, while my family laughed. I didn't scream. I just acted. A week later, they were the ones screaming. I came home a day early. Appendix surgery. Nothing dramatic. Doctor said it went fine, and if I could walk without passing out, I was good to go. And I could, because that gnawing anxiety about my daughter wouldn't let me rest anyway. So I called a cab and went straight home. I unlocked the door, stepped inside, and heard a man's voice I didn't recognize. "All right, let's go. I'm taking you with me." Then a sudden burst of crying, and a scream. My 4-year-old daughter, Everly. "I don't want to! No!" I froze. For half a second, my body just stopped. Then came the second scream. "Please! I'll be good!" And that's when I ran. The living room. That's where I found them. There was a huge cardboard box, the same one we used a month ago to store winter clothes. On it, scrawled in thick black marker, "Baby Factory, Returns." Inside it, my little girl Everly, in her fox print pajamas, shaking. Tears streaked her face. Her hands clutched the sides of the box. Her eyes, pure panic. Standing in front of her was some greasy guy in a filthy hoodie, holding a roll of packing tape. And grinning. To the side, this freakishly huge animatronic doll spun its head in slow circles and croaked out in a horror movie voice, "I'm a good girl. I'm a good girl." On the couch, my mother, Betty, sitting there with her arms crossed, laughing. And in the kitchen doorway, phone raised like a proud film director, stood my sister Alana, recording. "That's what you say now, Everly," she giggled. "But what if you're lying? The factory will help you learn." "Come on, get in," the guy chimed in. "Tuck your head. I gotta seal the box." They hadn't noticed me yet. "Stop. Right now," I said. Loud. Clear. Whatever they heard in my voice, it worked. Everything froze. The guy turned first, looked over his shoulder. "Oh, Joss, you're home already," Betty muttered, like this was just awkward timing. I didn't even glance at her. I went straight to Everly. "Mama!" she sobbed, arms reaching out of the box. She couldn't climb out. The thing was practically up to her chest. I picked her up, held her tight. She clung to my neck like she was never letting go, started crying even harder. "It's okay, baby," I whispered, stroking her back, kissing her tear-streaked cheek. "You're safe now. I've got you. Nobody's ever taking you away. Not ever." I turned to the guy. "Who the hell are you?" He blinked, looked over at Betty, then stammered. "I'm a friend of Betty's. It was just a joke. Get out." I didn't scream, didn't raise my voice, just said it flat. Cold. So Everly wouldn't get more scared. He froze for a second, then bolted, grabbed his ratty jacket and rushed out. I looked at the rest of them, these people who dared to call themselves family. Everly still clung to me. I could feel her little heart hammering through her pajamas. "What the hell is wrong with you?" I asked, louder than I meant to. Betty stopped laughing but didn't even blink. "We were just having a little fun. Geez, don't be so dramatic." "Fun? Fun? She's 4. She was sobbing in a box while some strange man threatened to take her away. That's your idea of fun?" Betty rolled her eyes, like I was the one being unreasonable. "What are you even doing here?" I snapped. "I told you you're not allowed in this house." "I was just stopping by to visit," she said innocently. I turned to Alana. "And you? You knew damn well she wasn't allowed here." "You were in the hospital," she shrugged. "I thought..." "You thought?" I let out a laugh. "You really think? You thought my daughter was fair game for one of your TikTok horror shorts?" Alana looked away. Betty, still lounging on the couch, suddenly piped up. "So how's your stomach? Surgery go okay?" The fake concern nearly made me gag. I ignored her, kissed Everly, set her gently on a chair, and walked up to Alana. "Give me your phone." "No," she snapped, stepping back. Too slow. I yanked it from her hand, found the video, and sent it to my email. She tried to grab it back, but adrenaline and pure rage gave me the strength of 10 moms. I stepped back, took a breath. "Betty, you've got 10 minutes to get your crap and leave." I said Betty on purpose. She doesn't get to be mom. She scoffed, but stood up and walked out. "You've got 1 hour." I said to Alana. Whatever's left after that. It's going in the trash. Joss, come on, she whined. You're overreacting. Out of my house. But I stayed with Everly while you were in the hospital. I helped. Helped? You terrorized her for laughs. And honestly, I was impressed my voice wasn't shaking. My hands were steady. My whole body felt like scorched earth. Where am I supposed to go? Alana whimpered. I stared her down. Wherever. If you're still here in an hour, I'm calling the cops. I picked up Everly and walked away. I said I'm sorry, she called after me. I didn't look back. We went into the kitchen. Everly wasn't crying anymore. She just wrapped her arms around my neck and hid her face against me. I made her tea, toast with her favorite jam. Sat across from her. They'll never hurt you again, I said. I promise. No one will ever treat you like that again. Later, we curled up in bed, and I read her a story about a brave princess and a dragon. She fell asleep partway through, her forehead still scrunched in worry. When I stepped out of her room, the house was finally quiet. Betty and Alana were gone. Only that horrible doll was left, still lying on the living room floor. I picked it up by the hair and dumped it straight into the outside trash bin. If you'd told me a week ago that my mom and my little sister would team up to terrify my 4-year-old daughter to the point of screaming, I would have laughed and said, okay, but they're not that crazy. Turns out, I was wrong. Our family story is as cheap and predictable as the boxed wine my mom used to chug like Gatorade. My dad bailed when Alana was just a baby. Me, I was 5. I have a blurry memory of him once giving me a piggyback ride on the beach. Or maybe it was a neighbor. Who knows? He was barely in the picture. Technically, Mom was a single parent. But in practice, she was barely there either. Hanging out with friends was code for drinking until her liver cried for help. I figured out early that no one was going to take care of Alana except me. By the time I was 8, I was packing her preschool bag, making her breakfast, putting her to bed, because Mom was out for a couple hours that usually turned into sunrise. When I turned 18, Mom disappeared for good. Didn't die. Didn't go missing. Just stopped showing up. Alana was 13 at the time. Still a kid. Braids, braces, hurricane of a personality. I had to go to court and take legal guardianship. The judge looked at me and said, well, it's foster care or you. Solid options, right? So I chose her. Gave up college, got a job. First at a front desk, then as a paralegal for a friend of a friend. That's where I've been ever since. It's not glamorous, but it pays the bills. House, daycare for Everly, groceries, and yes, even Alana's classes. Technically, she's enrolled in community college. Realistically, she spends more time on Instagram than on coursework. The first couple years after I got custody, it kind of worked. I pulled the weight. She existed. School was a constant mess. Fights, skipped classes, selfies with cheap beer, and every time I made excuses, she's acting out because of Mom. She'll grow out of it. When I was 20, I met Jeremy. We got married. Then came Everly. That's when the cracks widened. Alana was 16 and suddenly realized I wasn't an endless ATM anymore. Because plot twist, babies cost money. And unlike sulky teenagers, babies can't get a part-time job at Starbucks. To Alana, that was betrayal. You spend everything on her, she snapped once while I was buying diapers. Yeah, I said. Because she poops herself and you don't. Unless I missed something. Jeremy, for what it's worth, wasn't thrilled about supporting my sister once she turned 18. We argued about it a few times, then he gave up. Then he left. So it was just me, Everly, and Alana. And life under one roof went from hard to hellish. I worked. Alana coasted. She wanted money but did nothing to earn it. At 18, I could have kicked her out. But I didn't. I let her stay. For 2 more years, she played adult while acting like a freeloading kid. My income was the only income. Most of it went to Everly, daycare, food, clothes. Alana got the leftovers, and she hated that. Not out loud, but I could feel it. She didn't want love. She wanted funding. Then Mom showed back up. Older, but still wearing that same pickled expression that screams, "Got any cash?" She said she wanted to reconnect. I told her the door was closed, firm but polite. Alana, of course, had other ideas. She thought it was some kind of fairy tale reunion. I saw it for what it was. Mom sniffing around for handouts and someone to validate her mess. We fought about it. Alana called it restoring the family. I called it letting the booze back in. Then I found out Alana was slipping her some of my money. Not huge amounts, but enough to keep Betty around. I let it go. Why? Because I was still trying to understand. Alana didn't remember the worst parts. She didn't remember the mornings with no food, the puke in the hallway, the smell of cheap vodka soaking through the couch. To her, mine was this vague idea, someone who came back and wanted to be better. Maybe she did want a mom. I won't pretend to know, but what I do know now is that Alana also wanted an ally. Someone to side with her when I said no. Someone to whisper, "She's so controlling," or "Your sister's impossible." Then came the appendicitis, sharp pain, ER, emergency surgery. Just like that, I was in a hospital bed. Everly stayed home with Alana, and I didn't think twice. Sure, Alana was moody, bitter, but she'd never hurt her. Right? Wrong. Looking back, there were signs. Alana got annoyed with Everly a lot. She called her chubby, clumsy, laughed when she tripped or cried. I caught her doing it more than once. When I confronted her, she'd roll her eyes and go, "God, it's a joke. Lighten up." I should have known then that one day that joke would turn cruel. There was the time she threw a toy so hard it cracked. Or when she left a 2-year-old Everly alone at the park because she just ran into the store real quick. I found my baby sitting alone in the sandbox. Or the time she forgot to pick her up from daycare because she was busy scrolling on her phone. We fought. I got angry, but I always forgave her. I thought she was careless, not malicious. Turns out, she was both. What they did during those 2 days while I was in the hospital? I'll never know. Maybe Everly missed me and got clingy. Maybe she annoyed them. Maybe Betty gave her one of her life lessons, and Alana thought it was hilarious. But what I walked into when I came home wasn't a prank. It was a performance, a staged production designed to terrify a small, defenseless child. They prepped for it, bought props. Betty invited her creepy boyfriend, because what normal grown man volunteers to scare a preschooler in a box? Maybe they thought it was a lesson. Maybe they thought I'd come home to a perfectly obedient Everly. Or maybe they just liked the feeling of power. I don't care anymore. All I know is, that day, the family discount officially expired, Formula Rende. Everly was asleep. Kind of. More like twitching and murmuring like a cornered animal than actual sleep. I sat beside her, watching her clutch that old stuffed bunny like her life depended on it. My insides were boiling. My phone was on the nightstand. I already knew what was on it. Knew I had to watch it before I lost my nerve. I hit play. The video opened with Betty placing a cardboard box in the middle of the room. Written in fat black marker on the lid, "Kid Factory, returns." Too neat to be a joke on the fly. Then Betty plopped down on the couch like she was waiting for a live performance. Some random guy in a hoodie fiddled with duct tape nearby. And Everly, my baby in her fox print pajamas, was standing in the corner crying. "Come on, sit down," Alana's voice said. She was filming. You didn't see her, but you heard her. "I don't want to," Everly screamed. My heart slammed against my ribs. "Hurry up, you're holding up the line," Betty chuckled. "Uncle's waiting." Then the man stepped into frame. "Everly, let's go," he said, and just like that, he grabbed her under the arms and started carrying her toward the box. "No! Don't touch me! Mommy!" she screamed, squirming in his arms, her little legs kicking. I paused the video, gasping like I'd been sucker punched. I couldn't breathe. My hands shook. My head throbbed. This was supposed to be a joke? A joke? My daughter's face stared back at me, twisted in panic, eyes wide, mouth open in terror. That wasn't pretend. That wasn't drama. That was raw, primal fear. I sat there for a while, trying to breathe, trying to calm down. Then I pressed play again. He dumped her in the box, towered over her. "Sit still so Uncle can tape it shut," Alana said off-screen, like she was giving instructions for a school project. "They'll teach you how to behave at the factory." Then Betty walked over, wound up a doll, and the creepy thing started spinning its head and chanting, "I'm a good little girl. I'm a good little girl." Betty said, "See? We're trading you in for a well-behaved one," and sat back down like she was watching a sitcom. They all laughed, while my daughter sobbed, trembling, calling for me. Then, "Okay, let's go. I'm taking you now," Hoodie Guy said. "No! Please! I'll be good!" Everly wailed. I hit stop. I didn't need to see the rest. I had lived the rest. Thank God I came home when I did. Thank God I was there to drag those monsters out of my house. My mouth felt like I'd eaten a spoonful of sand. There was no confusion, no gray area. This wasn't a prank. This was cruelty, premeditated and sadistic. And no, they weren't getting off easy with just being thrown out. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, my brain made horror reels. What if I hadn't come back? How far would they have gone? In the morning, someone pounded on the door, hard. 3 sharp knocks. It was Alana. "Joss, she started, putting on a face like she was starring in a low-budget drama. "Maybe I went too far. Let's just forget it happened, okay? I mean, I'm your sister." "No," I said. "You're a grown woman who tortured a child. You don't get to come back." "But I didn't finish packing," she started. "Great. Do it now, while I watch." She blinked like I'd slapped her. "Now?" "Now." So Everly, who was practically glued to my hip, and I followed her to her room. "You've got 3 hours," I said. 3 hours? She shrieked, already yanking open drawers. "Joss, are you serious? I won't make it. This is my life. I have dresses, coats, shoes, bags." "You have 3 hours," I repeated. "Whatever you leave, I'm trashing." "That's my nightstand," she shouted, pointing at the IKEA table. "Bought it with my money. So, nope." She rolled her eyes and started chucking shirts into her bag like a teenager storming out of summer camp. "And the microwave?" she called after a minute. "Alana, seriously?" I actually laughed. "You're not taking my microwave to the home for emotionally bankrupt witches. Just grab your crap. Furniture and appliances stay." She huffed, muttered something about me taking everything from her, and kept flailing around. I went to the kitchen, made tea, left her door open on purpose. From the kitchen, I could see her rushing back and forth, tossing clothes, zipping up bags. Everly sat at the table with a coloring book. I sipped tea. A couple hours later, the hallway was piled up. 3 suitcases, 2 bags, 1 trash bag full of shoes. "That's it. I'll come back for the rest later," Alana said. "No, you won't," I said, holding out my hand. "Keys. You're not stepping back into this house." She hesitated for 1 second. Then, sighing like she was the victim, she slapped the keys into my palm. When the door shut behind her, her room was a graveyard of empty hangers, torn magazine pages, a single old sneaker, and enough dust to coat a toddler. The house was silent. Even Everly seemed to breathe easier. The next day, I went to the office. Everly sat beside me, drawing while I showed the video to a colleague. "This qualifies as child endangerment," he said. "You have a solid case for a restraining order. And here in Texas, they could be looking at jail time." "All 3 of them?" I asked. He nodded. "You've got it on tape. They were all involved." That afternoon, Everly and I went to the station. I filed the report, attached the video. 1 cop was attentive, professional. The other acted like I was complaining about a neighbor's barking dog. But I looked him straight in the eye and said, "My daughter cries in her sleep. This isn't a joke." They filed everything and said a temporary restraining order would be approved in a few days. If they violate it, new charges. I thanked them and we left. That evening, Everly was unusually quiet. "No, Mom, look." No updates on her drawings. I pulled her into my lap, held her, stroked her hair. "You know what, baby?" I whispered. "Things are going to be different now. I talked to people whose job is to protect us, and they've already started." "So they won't come back?" she asked, her voice muffled against my shoulder. "That's right," I said. "No one gets to hurt you. Not ever. Mama's always going to be here, and we'll always be together." She nodded, but didn't let go of my neck. I kissed her temple and said softly, "We're safe now, Evie. We're safe." And in my head I added, "I hope that's true. But I know them too well to believe it completely." A week after I filed the report, they each got official letters from the police. Alana Wilson, Betty Wilson, and Randall Miller. Date, time, location, and a line in bold. "You are persons of interest in an ongoing investigation involving emotional abuse of a minor. Not charged, yet, but not just witnesses either." Alana was the first to call. "No way. Are you serious?" "No, hi. No, how are you?" Just straight panic. "You want me to go to jail?" "You chose that route yourself," I said. "Joss, it was a joke!" she nearly screamed. "I'm your sister. You seriously want me locked up with people who traumatize little kids?" "Yeah, that's where you belong," I cut in. Everly flinches at loud noises now. She cries in her sleep. She's scared of male voices. That wasn't a joke. That was torture. Well, I didn't mean to. I'll talk to her, make her feel better. Don't you dare, I snapped. Don't even think about going near her. Oh my God, you're always so dramatic, she scoffed. Fine. I'll come over and we'll talk like adults. Nope. We're done. Goodbye. Next call. Betty. You're putting your own mother in jail, she said. No greeting. Just the usual guilt trip opener. Do you even hear yourself? You mean the mother who ditched us and showed back up when she needed money? I replied. Yeah. Sounds about right. I just wanted to spend time with my granddaughter. Oh, sure. Box, creepy doll, strange man, real quality bonding time. Then Randy called. His voice was cautious, like a guy defusing a bomb with oven mitts. Look, I didn't know, okay? Betty asked for help. I thought it was a game, like a prank, a box, a toy, you know? I didn't realize it was serious. You didn't realize the kid was screaming and crying in terror? No, I mean, kids are weird, right? I don't have kids. I don't know what's normal. I just thought, save it. The court will explain it to you. Whoa, no need for court. I'm really sorry. Maybe we could settle this? Yeah, in court. Each time the pity card came out, I hung up. I had no pity left. I'd spent it all on Everly. A few days later, I decided Everly deserved a slice of normal. She still held my hand like a lifeline when we walked anywhere, but she'd started playing again, drawing, singing to herself sometimes. I sent her back to preschool, just a few hours a day, to be around kids. Then I got the call. Hi, this is Miss Denise from the daycare. Alana stopped by. We let her in because she used to pick Everly up before. I ran out of the house. Everly was standing in the coat room, holding her backpack like a shield. Her face was pale, eyes huge. Baby, I'm here, I said, scooping her up. She wrapped her arms around my neck like she thought I'd vanish again. I turned to the teacher. Did you hear what she said? What did Alana tell her? She kept saying it was just a misunderstanding, that it was a joke, and that she loves Everly and misses her. I didn't realize right away that it was upsetting Everly until I saw her flinch when Alana tried to hug her. She cried. I'm really sorry. Thank you for telling me, I said, kissing Everly's cheek. Please don't ever let her near my daughter again. I'll bring in the restraining order paperwork. That night, Everly had another meltdown. She couldn't fall asleep, then started sobbing in her dreams, whispering, Don't take me. Please, don't take me. I sat by her bed all night, holding her hand, whispering whatever comfort I could find. By morning, I called a child psychologist. The therapist was gentle and kind. She said Everly's reaction was textbook for trauma, anxiety, separation fear, nightmares. We started weekly sessions. I asked for a written report for court, because no, it wasn't just a bad joke. It was emotional damage. That same day, I filed a motion for a protective order against Alana. I included everything, past behavior, the video, the preschool incident, the psychologist's report. The judge approved it fast. Alana was now legally banned from contacting us in any way. Texts, calls, visits, any of it could land her in jail. One step closer, and it's a felony. I thought that would be the end of it. It wasn't. We were walking back from the grocery store when I saw them. All three. They were standing by my building like some deranged reunion tour. I turned on the voice recorder on my phone. Betty started first. You're insane! Throwing your own mother in jail? You left when Alana was 12. I raised her. You're just the woman who gave birth to us. Alana chimed in. We could have handled this privately. Sure, I said. Boxing up a child and mocking her. Very family-friendly. And then Randy stepped forward. His face was red. His breath reeked. Booze, smoke, sweat. Something sour and rotting. He got too close, grabbed my shoulder and yanked hard. Drop the charges, he hissed, breathing that stench in my face. Or you'll regret it. Everly screamed and clung to me. I held her tight. Let go, I said through my teeth. He didn't. His fingers dug in deeper. His lip curled. You don't know who you're messing with, he growled. Take it back, or I swear. Betty rushed in, yelling, You ungrateful brat! And grabbed my other arm. Everly lost it, full-on panic, sobbing hysterically. I shoved them off and turned, shielding her with my body. My shoulder burned from the grip, but I didn't care. She was all I saw. "You monsters," I muttered. Then I heard it. "It's all on video," said a woman from the porch across the street. "I've been filming. Police are on their way." Randy froze. Betty hesitated. Click. Click. The woman held up her phone. A man appeared behind her, holding his own. "I called too," he said. "Assaulting a mother in front of her kid? Y'all are screwed." For a moment, there was silence. Just Everly sobbing into my chest. Randy unclenched his fists. His expression shifted, still furious, but quieter, duller, like someone slapped the rage out of him. "Let's go!" Betty barked, yanking his sleeve. "Now, before they show up!" Randy spit on the ground and turned. "This isn't over," he muttered. I didn't move. Everly shook in my arms. Click. Another photo. Captured. Their faces. My torn shirt. Our front yard. Everything. They walked off. Alana stayed behind for a second, standing there like she might say something, but didn't. She turned and followed them. Didn't look back. I held Everly close, and for a second the whole world went quiet, except for her sobs. Sharp, broken little gasps like she couldn't get air. "It's okay, baby. I'm here," I whispered, stroking her back. "You're safe now. You're okay." "You did the right thing. Keep protecting your daughter," said the woman from the porch. "Thank you," I managed. She gave me a small smile. "I'll send you the video, just in case." I nodded, and in the back of my mind I thought, I don't just have my word anymore. I have video, audio, eyewitnesses, and most importantly, one more reason why they need to be locked up. The next morning, I was at the station again. Video from my phone, audio from the recorder, witness statements, the psychologist's report. The officer looked through it and nodded. "This is serious. Assault, threats, witness intimidation. It'll stick." Things moved fast after that. My lawyer said that even the softest judge would have a hard time brushing this off. The trial itself was boring, honestly. I said what I needed to say. Nothing more. They tried the usual. Alana cried. Betty yelled. Randy sulked. The sentences were read in a flat voice. Alana, 4 months for her role in the original incident. Betty, 8 months for participating in the emotional abuse and helping with the assault. Randy, 18 months for putting a child in a box, for physically attacking me, and for making threats. I didn't smile. I didn't feel triumphant. Just still. Quiet. They yelled things as they were being taken out. I didn't listen. It's been 6 months since then. Our house is quiet. The good kind of quiet. The kind without shouting, blame, or twisted guilt trips. Everly plays. She sings. She draws little pictures and hums while she does it. And for the first time in a very long time, I don't feel guilty for simply existing. Alana got out after 1 month. She called. Tried to guilt me. Asked for money. I hung up halfway through her speech. Haven't heard from her since, though I did see some post on social media where she whined about how her sister ruined her life. Cool. Let her whine. I don't know where Betty and Randy are, and honestly, I don't care. Betty's probably out on early release by now, still fantasizing about suing me for falsely accusing a poor innocent grandma. And Randy? With a 1.5 years to serve, he's probably still inside. That's not a parking ticket. I haven't checked, because I'm living my life now, not theirs. Me and Everly? We bake cookies. We go on walks. We read bedtime stories. She still sees the therapist. There are occasional nightmares, but now she has words for her fear. She can name it. She laughs out loud again. She asks when we're going back to the zoo, and that means we're healing, slowly but surely. One evening, when she fell asleep with her head on my shoulder, I caught myself thinking, family isn't the people who gave you blood. It's the people who would never hurt your child. I didn't do this to get revenge. I did it because I'm a mom. So what do you think? Did I do the right thing? Would you have done it differently? Let me know. I'd really love to hear your thoughts. And if this story resonated with you, hit subscribe. There's more where this came from.